Hi, I'm Honan Xie. Today I want to talk about stressful examination. So, what is it, and what's its history? So, examination is a strict method of knowledge level identification. That a test is a group of people with different educational resources to complete the same answer in a certain period of time. However, the significance of examination is not limited to this. In fact, examination is to give people from different social standards in the society a chance to change themselves. With the progress of human civilization, the examination system has become more and more perfect. The importance of testing as a standard of assessment is also growing. As a result, some students have stress and fear about exams. So, to solve this problem, we need to understand its history. China is the birthplace of examinations. As a country with precocious culture, the earliest origin of the examination system can be traced back to the Xia, Shang, and Zhou dynasties. In history, the earliest examination system was the Chinese system of selecting administrative officials by examination, according to records in 1115 BC, and the periodic examination of officials who had entered the official career, according to records in 2200 BC.
Haunan has described a brief outline of exams and high-stakes testing. This issue normally happens around Asian countries where students are required to do loads of tests to prove themselves with high scores, as well as to get into a good uni. In Australian classes, students are requested to complete NAPLAN and ATAR to test themselves. How does this teaching strategy relate to APSDs? Although APSD's 5.1, Access Student Learning has mentioned that teachers are needed to maintain the ability to use multiple skills to test students, such as exams, the significance of students' understanding, respectful of diversity, etc., cannot be avoided. This indicates that teachers should also focus on other access criteria apart from only doing exams. There are many methods which teachers could access with the students' feedback of learning. For instance, teachers can set up fun tasks such as Quizlet or Kahoot for formative results, which support student participation but also manage classroom activities. These are APSDs 4.1 and 4.2, so that students have the opportunity to comprehend and revise the content more deeply instead of always doing exams. What's more, from APSDs 5.2 and 5.4, teachers can provide more feedback to students on their learning and interpret student data, engage students with further exploration of learning. Exams and high stakes of tests has an enormous impact on both students and teachers. Students are basically under an exam-oriented education, which they focus on textbook knowledge in order to get good marks on exams. One of the strategies in pedagogy also mentions that it is essential for teachers to combine school knowledge into real-life learning, which brings up students' passion and curiosity. Students' mental health will be affected under a stressful environment, where teachers should provide a safe and comfortable environment for students to learn. Under a stressful education system, it is difficult for teachers to enjoy the job of teaching. They won't manage the time to care about students, and their goal is to help students reach higher scores. In pedagogy, teachers influence students in the process of learning. Therefore, the strategy of exams and high stakes of tests should be carefully considered in educational learning.
Hi, I'm Kitty. I agree with Marianne that high-stake exams and tests will have big impact on both teachers and students' well-being. So, what are some strategies can be used to address this issue? One research has shown teachers can provide practice tests and past exams to familiarize their students with the format of the actual test or exam. Also, many teachers choose to teach test-oriented contents, which means they emphasize on the contents that will appear on test or exam. Many teachers choose to develop test-taking skills for their students. For example, with multiple choice questions, the students are trained to be able to eliminate the incorrect options. For wording questions, teachers teach the student the skill to read the keywords and understand the questions to save time. These strategies are effective for specific tests or exams because they help the students feel more confident, more prepared for the exams or the tests. However, these strategies didn't work for a long-term period. This is because the content tends to be faded after the student completing the exam. The students recognize themselves as passive learner, so they have put their goals at completing the test or the exam successfully instead of obtaining and learning new knowledge. Also, since teachers only focus on specific learning area, others helpful skills for the students in the future can be disregarded. This contradicts with the purpose of education. Another strategies can be used to address high-stake testing is using alternative assessment, such as group projects or group presentation to evaluate students' knowledge. Although they cannot completely replace the high-stake testing system, they reduce the weight of the exam and high-stake test. This strategy is effective since it develops lifelong skills such as communication, collaboration, which are ignored in the standardized tests. Also, by reducing the weight of the test, student stress and anxiety can be decreased.
As said by Kitty, schools have looked to address the issues of stressful tests by implementing different multimodal assessment methods, such as making presentations about the topic and forming group projects to investigate it. Although, while the Australian curriculum has adjusted to include these, tests are still a large part for assessing students' understanding of subjects. An example of this has been examinations, which all subjects can or are expected to hold at the end of school years, even to receive ATARs which shape students' lives thereafter. I believe that strives to push for more multimodal assessment types is really effective to play at the strengths of different students, especially ones that have diff abilities or just hold a strong preference to one assessment type over another. But more thought needs to be put into tests, and especially examinations. Schooling can be boiled down into course knowledge and lifelong skills that students will learn, and what is so problematic is that tests test course knowledge that is often soon forgotten after the assessment, and the skills that they learn cannot be used effectively outside of schools. I believe that what we should do is maybe slightly controversial, but keep tests in schools, but make them provide a different role in students' education. They should not be used as examinations, but instead the last assessment with a large grade weighting should be a body of work that is an example of everything the student has learnt this year, such as a mathematical investigation for math or a portfolio for arts. Instead, we should use tests as small indicators throughout the year alongside additional options, such as an essay or even a take-home variant of the test, to glean what students have retained. In this way, moving away from cramming before tests.